Michael Eisner ran the Walt Disney Company for 21 years. Last month, a reporter walked up to him after a panel in Manhattan and asked if he remembered approving a video game called Kingdom Hearts. Eisner said no. The reporter, to his credit, kept pushing, told him it was pitched to him in Tokyo, Final Fantasy characters plus Disney characters, and Eisner goes, "Oh, I remember now." So the reporter asked the follow-up, "Why did you say yes?" "I don't." The man who greenlit one of the most beloved RPG franchises in history, a series that has reportedly moved north of 35 million copies, had to be reminded that it exists, and then could not give you one single reason he approved it. That's like owning 9 racehorses and not being able to pick the Derby winner out of a lineup, which, funny enough, is almost exactly what Disney owns. 9 of them will get there. Because this weekend at D23, Disney and Square Enix emptied roughly 4 years of Kingdom Hearts news onto the internet in about 18 hours. A release window, a Pixar world, a Playable Mickey, an anime series. And one detail buried in the middle of that panel that I've been chewing on for 2 days, which I'll come back to because it actually got me. Okay, so what happened? Friday night, Honda Center in Anaheim, the Disney Entertainment Showcase, which is the big one, the one where they save the movie and TV reveals for. And in the middle of it, a brand new Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer. The first confirmed Disney world in the game is Coco, Land of the Dead, Marigold Bridge, Sora's got a Coco-themed Keyblade, and at the end of the trailer, a release window, late 2027. That's the first date this game has had since it was announced back in April of 2022. Then Saturday, they ran a separate hour-long panel called Deep Dive into Kingdom Hearts. Over at the Convention Center, streamed on YouTube, billed as a 25th anniversary retrospective. And quick thing on that, the series turns 25 next year. The first game came out in March of 2002, but D23 only happens every other year, and this is a D23 year. So the 25th anniversary is happening in 2026 now. Cool. The panel opened with the voice of Mickey Mouse welcoming everybody, and it also started late, which I find deeply funny for reasons I can't fully articulate. And then Tetsuya Nomura walked out as a surprise guest, which is, for this fandom, is roughly Bigfoot showing up to your barbecue. They ran the extended cut of the trailer, 4 full minutes. Sora's in Quadratum, that realistic almost Tokyo city, pulling civilians out of danger. Donald and Goofy have gone into the Land of the Dead to look for him, wearing their own custom outfits for that world, and they're playable for the first time in a mainline Kingdom Hearts game. Mickey's playable too, and his sections are puzzle-focused. Luxu, who's also Xigbar, is meeting with a young Xehanort again. Maleficent's confirmed to have a key role, and right at the end, Riku shows up and pulls Sora out of a fight. Now, the part that broke me, Miguel from Coco fights the Heartless with his guitar and with his singing voice. And Hector, who is a skeleton, uses his own detachable arm as a bow and arrow and also as a nunchuck. I need you to sit with that. A Pixar character is beating shadow monsters to death with his own arm, and he's doing it in 2 different fighting styles, and one of them is nunchuck. Get out of here. That's the most Kingdom Hearts sentence ever assembled, and I love it without reservation. Then co-director Tai Yasui got asked the question everybody in that room actually came to ask, is it going to slip? And his answer, paraphrasing very, very lightly, was that it's not an 80% thing or a 90% thing. It's a 100% thing. Nomura backed him up on stage. 100% late 2027 locked. I really want to believe him, I do, but every airline gate agent who has ever moved a departure time by 20 minutes at a time for 6 hours also believed the number they were saying when they said it. They also announced an anime. Disney Channel and Disney Plus, working title is just Kingdom Hearts. Original character, original story, Nomura and the Square Enix creative team involved. And one more thing, which is my favorite piece of housekeeping in years, that panel was live streamed, and Disney confirmed in advance that there would be no video on demand afterward. Watch it live or don't watch it. The world's largest entertainment company, sitting on the largest streaming infrastructure in the business, decided the Kingdom Hearts retrospective was a limited time item, like a McRib. So let's talk about the 9 racehorses. 2 days before that panel, Disney put out a blog post about how games are shaping its future. In it, Sean Shopta, their EVP over games, confirmed that Disney has 9 game franchises that have each grossed over $1 billion at retail. Kingdom Hearts is one of them. Marvel Strike Force is another. Disney Games pulled in over $4 billion in consumer spend in the past fiscal year and averaged about $3.5 billion a year for the 4 years before that. And in the graphic that went with it, Sora is the headliner for Disney and Pixar games. Front and center, next to Cal Kestis, next to Wolverine, next to Amanda Ripley. Great, wonderful. Here's the part that's actually the story. Disney doesn't make Kingdom Hearts. Disney hasn't seriously made its own games in a decade. In 2016, they killed Disney Infinity, shut down the internal studio, and moved the whole video game business to a licensing model, which is a very polite way of saying Disney stopped building things and started renting Mickey out by the hour. So when Disney tells you Kingdom Hearts crossed $1 billion, understand what that sentence is. That's not a company celebrating something it built. That's a landlord announcing the rent roll. The 9 years of silence, the canceled mobile game, the 8-figure development bill, the risk, the crunch, the entire question of whether this thing ships in 2027 at all, that's Square Enix's problem. Disney's job is to approve the model of Mickey's new coat and cash the check. And once you see it that way, the timing of the last 2 months stops looking like a franchise coming back to life and starts looking like a quarterly review. So let's look at it all. June, Nintendo Direct, the collection gets announced for Switch 2. That collection's key art immediately gets accused of being AI generated because Donald had 5 fingers on one hand and the clock tower looks like it melted. Square Enix eventually says it wasn't AI. It was, quote, human error, and then quietly swaps the art and fixes Donald's hand while leaving most of the other weirdness in place. $75 October 8th. Then August 13th, the $1 billion milestone post. August 14th, the release window. August 15th, the panel and the anime. 4 beats, all landing inside a convention window on a franchise that gave fans essentially nothing for 4 years and lost an entire mobile game along the way. Missing Link was announced alongside Kingdom Hearts 4 in 2022, ran closed betas for 2 years and got canceled in May of last year. The only footage of it that exists in public leaked onto 4chan. None of that is a coincidence, that's a rollout. So let me step off the gas because there's one moment in that panel I still really can't shake. Haley Joel Osment has voiced Sora since the beginning. He was barely a teenager when he recorded the first game. David Gallagher has voiced Riku just as long. Sora and Riku are the emotional spine of this entire series. 25 years of best friends, betrayal, saving each other, that whole thing. For a lot of people watching this, those 2 voices are load-bearing pieces of their childhood. On that stage, Osment mentioned that in 25 years, he and Gallagher have never once recorded dialogue together. Not once. Every conversation those characters have had was 2 guys in 2 separate booths in 2 separate rooms on 2 separate days, reading lines to nobody. And then they put up a scrapbook of the 2 of them from around the first game. Kids and Miyu Arino, the Japanese voice of Sora, recorded a message and sent it in. That's the part nobody's clipping. The thing that made millions of people cry in a dorm room in 2007 was built by people who were alone in a padded box the entire time, doing takes into a mic, trusting that somebody in an editing suite in another country would put it together into something that meant anything. 25 years of that, and they finally got to stand next to each other in Anaheim in front of a crowd that already knew every line. That's the good part. Everything else this weekend was a press release. So, okay, back to it. Couple of leftovers. Nomura asked which Disney property absolutely had to be in the series, and he said Nightmare Before Christmas, which yeah. He also name-dropped live action films, which the internet has already decided means pirates and is desperately hoping means Star Wars. He also teased a feature they wanted in Kingdom Hearts 3 and couldn't pull off because of, quote, difficulties, and then declined to say what it was because he is Tetsuya Nomura, and that is his entire personality. And the math on this thing, one more time, Kingdom Hearts 3 came out in January 2019. Kingdom Hearts 4 lands late 2027. It's a gap closing in on 9 years. The gap between 2 and 3 was 13. So if you're keeping score, Square Enix has cut the wait between mainline Kingdom Hearts games by 4 years, and they want a medal for it. And here's exactly where I land. I'm actually happy about this one. The trailer looks great, playable Donald is funny, and 100% from a co-director on stage is about as strong as a commitment gets in this industry. But don't confuse Disney showing up with Disney caring. Sora went on that slide because $1 billion went on that slide. If the next 4 years of numbers look different, Sora comes off the slide and nobody at Burbank will need to be reminded why. And just a very quick thing before you go, channel memberships, $2 gets you a badge, emojis, videos early, and a vote on what I cover next. 4 gets you member-only shorts, plus a voice message replying your comment. Perk or threat, your call. 7 makes you an executive producer, priority replies, and we shoot a 5 to 10 minute interview that goes up on this channel. Not a story, not a short, a real video with your name on it sitting here forever. Join button's right there, or don't, I'll be here either way. If this found you in an oil change waiting room, staring at a TV playing a cooking show at full volume, I appreciate you. Like it if it earned it, subscribe if you're planning on sticking around, and tell me in the comments, what's the game you've been waiting on the longest, and how old are you when it got announced? I want the number. I want to show how many birthdays you've had since a trailer. I'll see you in the next one. Cyler out.